Welcome back to my YouTube channel, ConfigFusion. I am your friend Vikas. In last week video, we learned how to install Windows Server 2022 on ESXi server. Thank you for all the amazing feedback and question on the tutorial. It's great to see so many of you diving into server setup. In today's video, we are taking it a step further. We will be installing and configuring the Active Directory AD and DNS role on Windows Server 2022. These services are the backbone of any enterprise network, helping manage users, computers, and domain name resolution. We will also cover the minimum hardware requirement for optimal performance, promoting your server to a domain controller, verifying the DNS configuration, and adding client machine to the domain. So grab a cup of tea and let's dive into. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you don't miss upcoming tutorial. Now let's get started. First we have to log in into server. Then actually what today I'm going to do here. So in this server we will install today the Active Directory. What is actually an Active Directory? So a service for the centralizing the user, device and resource management in a network. So this is called Active Directory. After this we will install the DNS also. So actually we are going to install both the services at a time, but we will configure one by one. So in the DNS, actually why we need DNS? What is DNS? So DNS is critical for name resolution in AD, ensuring device and users can find resource in the domain. Importance of both in modern IT environment is very high. So prerequisite is what all you need here. So about the prerequisite is actually you need actually the updated Windows Server 2022 installation, and you have to set the static IP. So I have already set it here, the static IP, and you need actually the administrative access to the server, then only you can install that. So if I show you, I have already done done the static IP setting here. Let me show you see, this is the static IP I have configured in my server. After that, when you log into the server, you have to go into the server manager. So before going to the server manager, you need actually what all hardware and RAM, CPU requirement you need to use in this server. So if you are going to a small deployment like 50 user, so maybe you maybe not, actually you need 1.4 gigahertz and 64-bit processor. Dual core processor is recommended for that, and the RAM, 2 GB RAM is required. If you go with 4 GB, it will be better performance. And the storage, minimum 32 GB is required for 50 user. Recommended if you go with 60 GB, it will handle log, AD database and sys volume. Other than that, and network, at least 1 Gbps NIC. If you wanted to go a medium deployment for 500 user, you need 2 GHz quad core processor, 8 GB RAM, 100 GB storage. If you increase the RAM from 8 to 12 to 16 GB, then it will give you the better performance for 500 user. If you want to go with the 1000 plus user, you need multi-core processor like 8 core and more, 16 GB RAM and storage as 200 GB. So if you have means large deployment, I will suggest you to go with the red configuration for the storage and dual NIC for higher throughput. Other than that, I will suggest you to do the backup of the server after installation and everything. So uh, I will come to that point also. Let me start with the installation. So I will show you that where you have to go. So first let me open the server manager. So this is the server manager. If you need anything, so actually this is the fresh installation of 2022 server. This won't have anything installed. Let me start. So you have to click here manage, add role and feature, then next, role based feature based installation and remote desktop service installation. So we are going to install here only. So we will go with role based, then next, select the server name, then next. So here is the active directory domain service, add feature. Okay, now we have to select the DNS server also. So we are going to install the DNS service also here. Next, next, again next, next, then select this restart the destination server automatically if it is required. So it will restart the server if it required, then install. After installation we will do the so what you do the need here, first you need to install the server feature and then you have to do the AD DS configuration wizard. It will open and you have to actually if I say you have to configure promote the AD. So this is the main task here while installing the AD. So see, we got one option here. After installation finish, you have to promote this AD, then only you can finish this AD installation. So let me wait for that installation part. We will get that option here to promote how. So actually it will take some time because this is the fresh installation, so it will gather everything and it install one by one. So we will have to wait for some time again. Okay, now see, we have got this post deployment configuration. So you can close this, and we have to jump into the promoting this server to a domain controller. Now you can select that add domain control the existing domain. If you have already existing domain, you can add new domain to existing forest. If you want to add it to forest, you can add. So what is actually uh, domain and forest concept? So let me tell you something briefly. So actually the domain and forest, so key feature of a domain. What is domain? In a domain, it will enable you to centralize authentication and authorization, meaning user need only one set of credential to access resource within the domain. So domain name, what is domain name? Every domain is identified by unique name like example.local, maybe example.com. It has their own security policies, like group policy are applied for the domain name to manage setting in all object. It has their own database. So this every domain store all the object into the active directory database ntds.dlt, which reside in domain controller. Now i I have told you already about the domain controller. Now coming to the, if you want to know the what is the forest. So a forest is a collection of one or more domain. So it is a multiple domain collection of multiple domain common that share the common active directory schema, global catalog, and trust relationship. It represents the highest level of logical structure in AD. What is the key feature of forest? So forest actually it will share the schema. So all domain in a forest share the same schema, which define the structure of object like user, group, and computer. Global catalog. So the global catalog is a searchable database containing information about the object in all domain within the forest. This allow user to find resource across domain. Okay. Now trust. What is trust relationship? So domain within the forest automatically have two transitive trust relationship, allowing user in one domain to access resource in another if permission is granted. And what is the forest root domain? So the first domain created in forest is a forest root domain, which hold the schema and configuration information for the entire forest. So now you understand better about the what is the difference between controller and a forest, domain controller and forest. So domain actually feature wise, if you see that the logical group of object managed together, it called domain, and that forest is actually collection of more domain using same schema. So sharing, they will share the schema between both. Okay. Now a scope, what is the scope? So in domain this have single administrative boundary, but in forest multiple domain with shared trust and schema. How you identify? So you can identify by the domain name called like example.local. This is a domain controller. But if you see the forest, identify the forest root domain. Okay. Now I'm not going to join into any forest, and so today I'm going to create one single domain name, new forest. So let me create it, configfusion.com. So this is my channel name. I'm using this name to creating the new forest root domain. You hit the next button, it will take you to next screen. So forest functional level is, we have multiple functional level. Let me show you. It is loading. See, we have the 2008 server, 2008 R2, 2012, 2012 R2, and Windows Server 16. So this is the latest one. So we will go with this functional level. Now you have to select the password. So you have already the admin password for this, but you have to select the password. Now I am going to put some password for the, actually this directory server restore mode DSRM password. So you need this while you restore that. Okay, now go to next, create. You don't need to go with the DNS, we will create later. Need BIOS name. So whatever you put here net BIOS name, it will resolve everywhere. So what is net BIOS name? Actually the net BIOS name, network basic input output system name. It is a full form of net BIOS, network basic input output system name. Is a unique identifier used in older Microsoft networking system to identify the device like computer, server and printer on the local network. It allows device to find and communicate with each other in a small primary LAN based network. So what is the key feature? So it has their own unique identifier. So each device in the network must have unique net BIOS name to avoid the conflict. Typically this is a name of computer or server, like anyone. So just now I put it here, the ConfigFusion. So this is the name of my forest name. The length, it restriction, it has the restriction of the net BIOS name. So you can't put more than 15 character name here of the net BIOS name. So you have to remember that this unlike the DNS name, which hierarchical is example dot local maybe. So net BIOS use flat namespace. You can't put dot and anything. So that's why when I put it configfusion.com, it taken only configfusion. Net BIOS operate on older network protocol like net BIOS over TCP/IP, NBT, or legacy protocol like IPX, SPX. Modern network typically use DNS, but net BIOS still support the backward compatibility. Okay. Now go to the next. See what I told the last time, that it used some database. This can be shared with other domain also in the same forest. So just now I am creating the forest. So it is creating one database, NTDS log folder, syslog folder. You can see there the logs and syslog and database. Now going to next. So it will verify every prerequisite and domain controller operation, then it will install the things. So let's wait for that. See, Windows Server 2022 domain controller have default for security setting name, allow cryptography algorithm compatible with Windows NT 4.0 that prevent weaker cryptography algorithm and establish security channel option. For more information about this is the link, you can go and check. Okay. See the last message, all prerequisite checks pass successfully. Click install to begin installation. So let me start the installation. This server was successfully configured domain control. So I have already selected that whenever required it will reboot the server. So whenever you install the AD, it will reboot the server to set everything as per AD configuration. So now it is disconnected. Let me check if it is up or not. Then I will connect again. Let's wait for few more time. So now server has rebooted. Let me show you that what all we have done with this and what we have to check now. See, the AD and DS has already installed and configured, and DNS also it is configured. Let me open one Active Directory users and computers. So with this you see configfusion.com, it has created. Now you can create the user, you can create the OU. So let me create one OU for you, organization you need. So let's see the HR department. This OU I will create some users, call user 1. Next, put some name. So here we have some option. User must change password and next login. So when you select this, whenever someone login, they have to change their password at first login. User can't change password, so that user cannot be change the password. The password never expires, so it will select, it will not expire. Finish. Like that you can create here the group also. New group called senior HR. So maybe some group of HR, they belong to senior HR and some of belong to junior HR. You can create multiple things here. We have the computer, group, user, OU. So let me tell you something about the so why we need users. Users, you know that someone wanted to access this, they need actually to create one user. And the group, so group is a collection of user account. Maybe 4 5 user belong to senior HR group, 5 user belong to junior HR group. So you can create a group, and whenever you require to allow some access for a specific group, then you can, like 5 user belong to this senior HR group, you can select simply this HR group and you can allow that permission, so it will reflect to all 5 user. Then coming to the OU, so an OU is a logical container, okay, in Active Directory, used to group object like users, group, computer, other OU for organization purpose. The actually key characteristics of OU is a purpose. First, used to organize, delegate management of AD object. help apply to group policy GPU to manage setting for users and computer. And you can mention the what is the hierarchy. OU can be nested to create a structure hierarchy that mirrors the organization structure, e.g. department and the location. So as for example, if you go with that maybe department, that maybe the location, delegation of control. Permission can be delegated to a specific OU to allow junior administrator or a specific team to manage object within that OU. So maybe an OU named as IT department could contain user like ABC, DEF, maybe user 1, user 2, user 3, group like IT admin. So these are the main things. Now let me check another thing what I have created here, the DNS. See, one DNS I have created. So we have this, you are seeing here, forward lookup zone, reverse lookup zone, trust point, conditional forwarder. What is the forward lookup zone and reverse lookup zone? You have any idea about that? So in DNS actually the context of DNS, domain name system, forward lookup zone and reverse lookup zone are essential concepts that define how name and IP address are resolved. So let's say example, a forward lookup zone is a DNS zone that resolves domain name to the IP address. Okay, and this is the most common type of DNS query. It is allow user to system user and system to access resource by their domain name and rather than IP address. So key feature of forward lookup zone purpose, convert a domain name is abc.com into its associated IP address is equal to 1.1.1.1. Now DNS record use. So DNS record use a record maps a domain name to IP address. A record maps a domain name to IPv6 address record. CNAME record. So what is CNAME record? It maps the alias of a domain name. So if I have created already one abc.com, that is mapped to 1.1.1.1. But if you want to use the same IP or same domain tab to be accessed by cdef.com, whenever you type cdef.com, it will go to the abc.com, then 1.1.1.1. So this is called a CNAME record. What is MX record? Say MX record map a domain name to mail server. So you can create a MX record for any mail server. So and now coming to what is reverse lookup zone. So let me show you first forward lookup zone what we have. We can create here the new host, a record, CNAME record, MX record. So let me create one. So whenever I create HR 192.168.58. So hr.configfusion.com will be resolved by 192.168.173.58. That's it. So one record I have created. Now let me tell you something about the reverse lookup zone. A reverse lookup zone is a DNS zone that resolve IP address to domain. So whatever IP you add, it will resolve one domain name for you. So purpose of this reverse lookup join, convert IP address into associated domain name. DNS record, this is called actually PTR record. So if you create reverse lookup join, new join something, it required some IP network ID called next, finish. So what you need here, now you can create here one PTR record. See, multiple thing you are seeing here, new PTR pointer. So what is the use of this PTR? Actually map an IP address to domain name. So if you create 173, we have added one network address called 192.168.173 dot something like 190.196. So it will reserve the host called chat2 dot configfusion.com. Okay, now let me show you something here. For example, let me go to the CMD. Inside the CMD, and whenever you wanted to do the find the IP for any host, you have to run ns lookup. Okay, so if you go server 8.8.8.8, so it will give you the I wanted to check what is the google.com IP, so google.com. So this DNS will resolve this, resolving one IPv6 address and one IPv4 address. If I go like if I wanted to found this hr.configfusion.com, it will not resolve because this is not a public domain. This is resolved by private domain. So let me first resolve here configfusion.com. See, it can't resolve. But whenever I change the server 192.168.173, so this is one my DNS server, the 195. Now again I'm going to resolve this IP. See, the entry it resolve one IP. This is called the A record. Now why it happened? Because I have added in forward lookup join. So whenever I put this detail, it will resolve one IP for me. Now I have added one another entry here in reverse lookup join. What is the reverse lookup join I have created? Pointer I have created hr2.configfusion.com. So if I put here 192.168.173.196, let me see what it resolves. hr2.configfusion.com means pointer record will resolve the host with any IP, and A record will resolve the IP from any host. Now so let me tell you something, why we need PTR record pointer. The PTR record allows DNS server to perform the reverse DNS query. So email server verification, email anti-spam. So email service often required PTR record to verify identify the sending mail server. When a mail server send an email to the recipient server, perform the reverse DNS lookup to check the IP address maps back to the expected domain name. Without valid PTR record, email from your server may be marked as a spam or rejected entirely. Mainly we use this uh, PTR record for email server. Other than that, network diagnostic and security service also use that. So PTR record are used troubleshoot like trace route, ping, NS lookup to identify the host name of the IP address. Now, now I have shown you how to install the AD, then how to add the users, groups and OU into AD server. Okay, so I have added one OU, I added one group, one user, then how to configure the DNS. Added one reverse lookup zone address, one A record in reverse lookup zone, one PTR record in sorry, it's my mistake. One A record in forward lookup zone, one PTR record in reverse lookup zone. I shown you how it resolved that address. Okay. In next video, uh, I will um, so now you able to see the use of AD and DNS. My one suggestion for all the IT admin: if you have one AD running in your environment, you have to back up periodically. Like maybe you can, if you have a huge traffic regularly, and maybe you are doing frequent changes on AD. You are adding daily like 2 3 users, maybe 100 user also. So what you need, you can do the daily backup also. As per your convenience, you can do the weekly or maybe monthly also. So if you have the backup, you can restore, and easily your IT infrastructure will be start using that same AD, and you can add this AD into your monitoring server to monitor every time. If anything happen, you can do the changes as quickly as possible. So in next video, I will show you how to add computer into the AD. Will show you other things like in next video how to configure the group policy. Thank you for watching this tutorial on installing and configuring Active Directory and DNS role on Windows Server 2022. I hope this step-by-step guide help you understand the process and importance of managing enterprise network. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with others who might benefit. Don't forget to subscribe to ConfigFusion and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out the future tutorial. In next video, I will show you how to add or join client machine into server. Then I will configure the group policy, domain management, and setting up a client machine to enforce security setting and manage user environment. Stay tuned and feel free to leave your question and suggestion in the comment below. Until next time, this is Vikas signing off. Keep learning and keep exploring. Bye bye.